Hey everyone, and welcome to the fourth episode of the Table 501 Yu-Gi-Oh podcast. Today we have, guess what? Ahmed again, and also Justin again, and also Shane again.
Hey, what's up?
So today we're just going to talk about some of the new cards that got revealed in Phantom Raid, which is looking out to be a fantastic set. We're going to talk about Masterpiece. I'm sorry, I meant S0 Numeron bullshit. And we're going to then talk about generally what deck types fit with our play styles and what we enjoy, and sort of what that really means for us in terms of our relationship with the game. So I guess we can start with how we're doing, where we're at personally. Justin, you want to go off with that?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. It's been a pretty fast week since our last recording for me. Nothing's really changed. Still sitting on playing some garbage Striker Eldritch builds. And yeah. Shane?
Yeah, nothing really has much changed for me. I'm still not really 100% decided on what deck I'm gonna build. It's probably gonna be Crusadia. I mean, I don't know. I just like the archetype. But yeah, no, you definitely were right when you said this week has gone by pretty fast.
Right? It just like shot by. Like,
yeah, it's I don't know. I just feel like more and more like weeks have been like that. That being said, it's not like this week wasn't full of like a bunch of Yu-Gi-Oh spoilers, which we will get into, because there are quite a few things that came out, and actually really like good things that came out too.
Very true. Ahmed, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hey, I'm Ahmed, and welcome to the first episode of the Table 501. I'm doing all right. You know, nothing crazy. I'm moving out of where I'm at right now in less than 2 weeks. Moving to Minnesota. I'm very sad about that.
I'm sad about it.
I mean, it's got to be exciting though, to an extent. I mean, it's probably like scary and yeah, it's probably sad, but
you know,
ow,
there's a lot of mixed feelings. As I talked to Justin about yesterday, I have a hard time saying goodbye to things or like grasping the finality of things. But it is a Yu-Gi-Oh podcast. This isn't a me therapy session podcast.
Hey, it could be. It definitely could be.
You know what? You know,
hi and welcome to
Table
the
501
podcast.
But
that's mainly it. I'm excited about the Yu-Gi-Oh stuff that got announced this week, though.
How's Dragoonities coming?
Oh yeah. So I'm getting more competent with the deck, but it's just hard because combo decks are inherently difficult, because it's not about, hey, I'm gonna memorize. Excuse me. I'm not gonna memorize this combo. Or it's more than just I'm gonna memorize this combo and then just do that combo every single game, because certain combos require very specific cards, and getting to your extenders and everything is a completely different story. But combo decks are more about taking your starting materials and finding the most optimal play where there's middle steps, and it's harder to see like how those middle steps can get you to intermediary steps, which get you to your like last steps, which is like your negations, your interruptions, your interactions, and stuff like that. So while I can sit there and be like, oh cool, I opened up a normal summon, an extender, Dragon Ravine, and whatever else, and be like, okay cool, this is full combo, I can recognize that. While there's that, the harder part is being like, okay, I didn't open up those very specific combo pieces. Where can I go from here? How can I end on the most optimal board with what I have? Because a lot of people are like, oh, combo decks, you just a normal summon Adamant or a special summon normal Adamantipator Researcher, mill 5. Okay, cool, I got the Guardian, and then you just special summon out a Seeker from your hand and whatever, and then. But I mean, you need to know where you're going with your starting hand and seeing those lines of play and everything. So it's been fun. It's certainly frustrating whenever I misplay and I'm like, fuck, I completely missed like a very basic thing. Usually that happens late at night when I'm tired and like not focusing on my games. But It's been fun. It's been fun.
Good. Remind me to bring up that point you made about the difficulties of comboing
Yes.
when we get to the later discussion.
I was actually just about to say the same thing.
That's gonna come up.
All right. Should we move into the most recent set, Phantom Rage here?
Let's do
Oh,
that.
absolutely. Wait. Before we do that, do we want to talk about Battles of Legend first? Or specifically one thing that came out in Battles of Legend?
Sure. I guess sure. Numeron sucks. I mean, it's good. It's really good.
Yeah.
But it sucks. It is not cool. It is lame.
Yeah, it's what? It gives you a VFD and a way to OTK, all just with one card.
Yeah. So what I told Justin yesterday is that it really, I don't think it's necessarily a healthy deck for the game. Like, I'm okay with it existing, but not at the level that it's at now, which I guess that's not saying much because it literally came out less than a week ago.
But we've seen it in action for a while.
We've seen it in action, yes. But what I told Justin yesterday is that the deck has essentially just one play and one play only, and it's to get out Numeron. I forgot what the field spell is called. Send Numeron network, yeah, and then send Numeron calling off of it for cost, which you can't ash, by the way, because it sends for cost. It's not part of the effect.
The same way you can't ash Trap Tricks or Felicia. I learned that.
Exactly. And then you get out your Numeron gates, and then you do one of two things. If you're going first, you go into S0. If you're going second, you just attack, yup, double, attack, yup, double, attack, yup, double, attack, yup, dead. You know, it has one play, and I don't know. I just don't really love that because it's just activates field spell. Hope they don't have an interaction. I win, and then that's it. And then there's just sit on a bunch of hand traps, and then also you can like play it with Eldritch, where there's a whole combo. Or yeah, you can. It's just splashable and everything. But
it's
with Eldritch
literally what
you can. There's this thing because like. Let's say you go into S0 on your first turn, and your opponent has Imperm, and they chain Imperm to the activation of S0. While this is a fairly niche situation, what you can do, because Imperm is targeting S0, is you can, if they have Conquistador and Sanguine, you activate Conquistador, Chainlink, Chainlink 3, because S0 is Chainlink 1, Imperm's Chainlink 2, Conquistador is Chainlink 3, and then you activate Sanguine to get out Eldritch. So Eldritch comes out as Chainlink 4, Conquistador comes out as Chainlink 3, destroying your S0, and then Chainlink 2, Imperm attempts to resolve, but there's no target for it anymore, so S0 resolves.
Yep.
So it's just, it even has an out to outs. It has outs to outs.
The most frustrating part about the card to me, too, is a lot of these decks that are really oppressive like this, like VFD, you can stop on the summon. You can stop VFD on its summon. Like, you can hit it with a fucking strike or a judgment. This card you can't. You can't out it when it is activated.
Wait, actually, I didn't really read it all the way through. Average Yu-Gi-Oh player.
Yeah. When Exceed Summon, your opponent's cards and effects cannot be activated, and also this card's Exceed Summon cannot be negated.
Oh, okay, fun, awesome, great, cool.
Yeah.
So
Yu-Gi-Oh players don't read because I didn't even know that was a thing.
You have to respond to the build up to this card being summoned if you can.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, they'll only Wait, yeah, no. Even if they do summon four gates, because a lot of people are summoning 3 and then going into the
They play around Nibiru.
Yeah. Oh, okay. No, yeah, you're right. Nibiru is any time during the main phase after 5 summons, not like responding to the 5th summon.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
It's not summon, it's monsters.
But the thing is with this, like, you can't Nibiru it anyway because
in response to the summon, like like you can go like end main phase Nibiru.
Or you can say on resolution of this summon, you know.
But that doesn't matter because they only summon 3 gates out and then go into it.
Yeah.
And the card, what is it? Gate, I think it is, restricts you from summoning more than one more time after this card is summoned.
Which is fine in most decks. Well,
exactly. That's the thing. Like, it doesn't matter because these decks don't care about summoning another card that turn.
Exactly.
Once
like
Zero's on the board,
just laughs in its face.
Once that Zero's on the board, it's over. Like, you've again, you don't have a way to respond. So yeah, card's unhealthy in my opinion.
Extremely so.
It's just too oppressive. It's just too oppressive.
What is there's one card that kinda sorta here, let me look it up. I think people were talking about, I'm not sure how good it is.
I'm ready. I love the like Shane niche responses.
XYZ Encore.
Oh, that card.
Yeah,
Yes.
target one face-up XYZ monster your opponent controls that has material. Detach all materials from it, and if you do, return it to the extra deck.
Right.
Yeah, and then you can
Yeah.
special summon one of their monsters that was used as material to your side of the field.
But that combo still fails when Eldritch is in the picture.
Oh no, but this has the magical text at the bottom. Cards and effects cannot be activated in response to this card's activation.
Oh, so it's a counter.
Yeah, it's a quick play spell you can play. So I'm thinking about throwing 3 of these and Ghost Ogre in my side deck to side out against Numeron decks. I would be taking like Nibiru and Ash Blossom out to put XYZ Encore and Ghost Ogre in.
Right.
And keeping Imperman just to essentially counteract it.
Which
Ghost
sucks,
Ogre is really
you know?
coming up this.
Yeah,
format.
Ghost
Yeah.
Ogre is definitely coming up.
Well,
I don't know.
honestly,
I
it's
just
just
think it
oh,
sucks
sorry.
because no, you're fine. But side deck space is already so tight because
Exactly.
we're siding for Adamancipator, we're siding for Eldritch, and granted we're not playing in person, but in our online simulators, it's not like
Those
you're gonna
don't
go in
exist,
without
those
a
don't
side.
exist.
Oh right, sorry, Konami sponsor us.
Promotional
Extra deck space is just tight because you're siding for Eldritch, you're siding for Adamancipator, and granted there's like overlap, but now we have to side Ghost Ogres in, we have to side XYZ Callings in, and I'm like, well, where's the space for like, if I'm playing against like Guru or Altergeist, I need back row hate. Where's the hate for like, sometimes you'll come up against what do you call it, Orchest or something, and I want to play Lancia or Chaos Hunter. Chaos Hunter's amazing, by the way. Like,
Chaos Hunter
very
is so
slept
good
on.
right now.
Very slept on card. It destroys Eldritch, and then anything that really banishes stuff to get its effects off, like Orchest and what do you call it?
Thunder Dragon.
No, and Eldritch specifically. But yeah, I just extra deck space just kind of. I'm sorry, side deck space is just tight right now, and now we have a bunch of cards that are making us play at least three ofs in the side deck just to counter it, just so you can play the game, just so you can activate cards.
Yep.
And effects.
And mind you, you still want to find space for cards like Ash Blossom because Needle Fiber is still a huge card in the format right now.
That's the thing. Everything's tight.
Yep, and
Yeah,
like
I was-
you need your Imperms and Ash Blossoms to deal with that combo in particular, even if it's not Eldritch Synchron and stuff, even if it's some other just Needle Fiber deck.
That's honestly the only saving grace, I guess, of Numeron, is that if you're playing Numeron, you really can't play Crystron, Helcafibrex, and the Jet Synchron combo.
You can't.
Can you?
You can't.
Because how many extra deck spots do you need for Numeron? You just need 4, right? 3, 4,
I mean,
5?
Yeah, some decks are playing Extravagance though.
Yeah, that's the thing. But I guess if you're running Extravagance, you're not playing the Helk combo anyways.
Right.
Yeah, I would also assume that if you're playing Extravagance, your extra deck is like exclusively
Numericon.
yeah, because if you banish your gates, or if you, God forbid, banish S0, like,
Yeah.
Look, God forbid, God allow.
No, but see that's, and I know I mentioned this before. That's why I wanted to play. I've been looking at Crusadia over Dino. Today I'm playing Crusadia, but I'm really just playing a Link spam deck with 9 to 12
Hey, me
hand
too.
traps. Yeah, because in 2 Kaiju, I mean, I know Kaiju's not really a hand trap, but
It's like an on your turn.
so I
thing.
mean that's the main reason. And I mean, you were saying side dice is tight, and it is. But I feel like you're gonna see a lot more decks now, just like makes hand traps all the way up, what the striker list you were posting before
12.
that were the 12
Yeah,
hand
I
traps.
still
Yeah,
play like 12 hand
yeah.
traps.
Not
And
to mention too that sorry, Gamma has
Gamma,
seen an
Yep,
incredible
yep,
amount.
yep.
Do you think that it's a healthy format if Psyframe Gamma is being played in almost every competitive
I
deck?
think it's fine. It's a good hand trap.
I think the better case you could make is, do you think it's healthy that every deck in the format is playing like 9 to 12 hand traps out of necessity? Because that's a bit more concerning.
Yeah, yeah, that's that's the thing. I'm a little torn on hand traps because without them, these decks like Adamancipator would just go like run wild and run rampant with no checks or balances whatsoever. But with them, it's like you have to run them and you need to run them, and Konami knows that you need to run them. So then they print Moonlit Chill, but in a higher
Great
rarity
card.
that's incredibly hard to pull.
Great card.
So they know you need this card to be able to play the game, or
Yeah, that's
similar
Konami
card.
though.
Yeah.
That's Konami. It's not just hand traps.
Please
That's every
sponsor us. Please sponsor us.
Anyway, speaking of Konami, let's move up to Konami's most recent product that they're pushing, Phantom Rage.
Yeah, it looks like it's gonna be a good set.
Shane, I'll let you take the reins because there's a lot of Infernity stuff in here that I think you might want to touch on.
Yeah, so back in the day, I used to actually play Infernity. I used to not be such a helmet OTK player, and I actually did play combo for a little bit.
Still helmet. Still had a helmet.
Yeah, still had a helmet, but Infernity was one of the decks that I played when we had like Lavavel Chain. By the way, that card can never come back, but that's a discussion for another day. But recently, during a live stream, it was revealed that we're getting 5 new Infernity cards that all seem pretty alright. It's been a while since I played the deck, so, and when I played it, it was the XYZ version. And that version of the deck kind of died with Lavavel Chain to an extent. But just looking at them, they seem pretty good. They have Infernity Wildcat, which essentially just lets you special summon from the graveyard if you discard a monster from your hand. Or no, it lets you special summon from your hand by discarding another Infernity monster. And then it has like a level adjustment where it can increase its level by 1 and decrease its level by 1. So it's also a tuner. So it essentially can be a level 2 through 4 tuner that can special summon itself from the hand, which is pretty cool. Maybe there's some Helka Fibrax plays that you can do with it. Then there is Conjurer, which I'm actually a little bit more excited for. It has this, if you have no cards in your hand, your opponent's monsters lose 800 attack, which is okay. But if it's in the graveyard and you have no cards in your hand, which if you haven't played Infernity, you want to do, all the effects revolve around having no cards in your hand. You can special summon it from the grave if you have no cards in your hand, but then you have to banish it when it leaves the field. Paranoia is kind of like a I want to say like a transmodify, except for the same level for Infernity. You contribute a dark monster and then special summon an Infernity monster from your deck with the same level but a different name. So I guess you could do this with like Armageddon Knight and Dark Grepher, because that's what you would do with in the XYZ version. And then it has some banishing. You can add a Infernity from your graveyard to your hand by banishing it from the graveyard. This level 6 Synchro, it would be good if it had a quick effect negate, but it does have a negate that you have on your turn, and if you have no cards in your hand, it destroys as well. If it battles an opponent's monster, inflicts battle damage to your opponent, it doubles battle damage. And then it allows a Dark Synchro monster that uses it as material to make 2 attacks. Well, but then the trap is nuts. So like you can activate it the turn it's set if you have no cards in your hand, which if you're setting it, you will have no cards in your hand. And it's an in-archetype searchable out to Nibiru, because if the monster effect negates while you control an Infernity monster, you can negate it. And then you can inflict damage to your opponent equal to that monster's level times 100, which I mean, if you're negating. Can this negate a link monster? It's not a mandatory effect to decrease its or inflict damage equal to its level, right? Yeah.
Actually, I think it would just count it as level 4.
Would it? A link monster?
I saw something recently about that.
So it says negate that effect. Then you can inflict. Well,
so it's not
actually, hold on.
mandatory. Okay, so you can negate link monsters. Just it wouldn't burn, right?
Yes, because it doesn't have a level.
Yeah.
Just encoder, please fact check us on that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I thought it was either on Farfa or Coder's stream. Somebody played a card that had to deal with level, and it counted rank, or link rating.
Okay, that shouldn't have worked.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
That shouldn't have worked.
we'll have to.
That's like when X seeds were coming out. People are saying like, well, if a card says something about level, can it count into rank? And everyone's like, no, it's different.
I remember actually at locals, Justin. You might remember this. There's a guy who was trying to activate. Yep, he was trying to activate Borreload Savage. I'm sorry, not Borreload Savage. Boral Sword Dragon to target a link monster to turn it to defense position. And as we know, as I hope we know, link monsters cannot be put in defense position. So it was an illegal activation, like from the beginning. You can't even say, I activate this effect to target whatever, to target, I don't know, Cyber's Wicked, whatever. Any link monster. You can't say that. And this guy just got into this argument with his opponent, and the guy's like, you can't do that. And the guy's like, I can, I've done it. And it's like, just because you've done it doesn't mean it's right.
Yeah, if you've done it, you've cheated and you've won games illegally.
Right. So in this case, it says you can inflict damage to your opponent equal to its level times 100. Because it's optional, that makes me feel like you can activate it in response, or not in response, but for a link monster. Because if it said then inflict damage to your opponent equal to its level times 100, that's mandatory, and therefore you could not even activate it in response to a link monster's effect. But because it's optional, I'm like, might. It just won't burn them because it doesn't have a level. So anyway, I just wanted to say that.
Shane?
Yeah, no, I was finished with the Infernity and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. I think like what other cards coming out in this set are, or other things are like the Dragma or Dogmatic.
Oh yeah, Dogmatica. They just got renamed
Dogmatica.
Today.
Yeah. And then the Prank Kids link.
Didn't we already talk about that? Meow meow.
Yeah, we did. Prank Kids Mew. We kind of talked about it. Some raid. Well, no, wait.
There's Raid Raptor support and Phantom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Raiders Night.
Yeah.
Phantom Night Raid Raptor.
Can this go into that the busted XYZ Dragon that like just gains the attack and negates the effects of all other cards on the field? I think it can, right?
Dark Rebellion Xyz Dragon?
I think.
I don't know what that card does.
Is it Arc Rebellion? Yeah, I think it's Arc Rebellion. No, it's so wait, Raiders Night, you can detach material, special summon from your extra deck. The Phantom's Knight, Raid Raptor, or XYZ Dragon that is 1 rank higher or lower than this card. Okay. So rank 5, which already looks like you can, but destroy during your opponent's next end phase. You can only use this effect once per turn. Okay, so you can use this to go into Arc Rebellion XYZ Dragon, which says this XYZ summon monster card cannot be destroyed by card effects. You can detach a material from this card and only declare attack with this card for the rest of the turn. Also, this card gains attack equal to the combined original attack of all other monsters on the field. Then if this card has a Dark XYZ monster as material, negate the effects of all other face-up monsters on the field. You can only use this effect of Arc Rebellion XYZ Dragon once per turn. So you can use Raiders Night to go into that, negate the entire board and attack in, and if you can't OTK them, you can go into the other new rank 12 XYZ monster, which we'll talk about in a bit once we're done talking about all the Raider Phantom Knight support stuff.
Yeah, when are you gonna play rank 12 turbo deck?
Once they come out with the rank 12 turbo archetype.
You can make one. There's enough rank 12s in the, or enough level 12s in the game. You got this.
in before I make divine rank 12 spam.
I think you got it. Do you want to touch on the macro gear card, Shane?
So it's kind of it's the rank 12 that we were talking about. It's essentially a generic Exciton Knight that you can use or any XYZ monster that you attacked with as material, and it essentially it says detach to material and you send all their cards on the field to the graveyard. So non-targeting, non-destruction, non-banishing effect. It sends, so it gets around a lot of things. And then it has a pretty cool second effect. If another card you control is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can choose a card from your hand deck or extra deck and attach it to it as a material, so it can just keep nuking the board to an extent, but it just takes a while to recharge. Other than that, I mean, which I shouldn't say that because I mean that's a huge the effect, but it is essentially just a generic 3000 attack, 3000 defense monster.
It's not super generic, because... Oh, wait, no, never mind, you're right. I read its rank as the materials it needed. That was my bad.
Oh, no.
I thought it needed 2 level 12 light monsters.
Oh, God, no. You straight up use you can use a rank 1 all the way through rank 12 XYZ monster, as long as it attacked that turn.
Okay, that's kind of nice.
Or it doesn't even have to be that monster. As long as a XYZ monster you control battled, you can use any. So you could use this in Numeron. I mean, I don't know why you would. You can special summon out your 4 gates. I mean, this is kind of, you wouldn't be dodging Nibiru. Oh wait, no, you can only special summon once per turn after that. Never mind. So I was saying you could use one of your gates to go into this, and then 3 of your gates to go into S0. But I forgot that you can only special summon once that turn.
Give me a second. I want to find. So I want to touch on the 2 new traps that came out in Phantom Rage.
The generic ones, right?
Yeah, the 2 normal traps. One was Warning Point, and I can't remember the name of the other one. I know its effect pretty well. Ahmed, do you happen to have the other card?
I forgot what it's called.
I don't. I want to know the name so that I can. Oh wait.
Here, talk about Warning Point, and then I'll find the one that has Eater of Millions on it for you.
Feedback, got it.
Oh yeah, okay.
Just found
I was wondering which one you're talking about. Okay, so yeah.
So, in Phantom Rage, there are 2, in my opinion, pretty powerful normal trap cards coming out. The first being Warning Point. Its effect is when a monster (S) is summoned face up. For the rest of the turn, those face-up monsters cannot attack. They have their effects negated, if any, and they cannot be used as material for Fusion, Synchro, Exceed, or Link Summon. And then you have Feedback, which reads, banish any number of cards from your extra deck face down, and if you do, banish that many random face-down cards from your opponent's extra deck face up until the end phase. So... big key point here for both of these cards is that they are normal traps, which means they are very trap trickable. You can run 6 copies of each of these cards at any given time. That being coupled with the fact that they're traps and a lot of heavy control strategies like Guru, like Geist, are very trap reliant, especially Geist because they get their only relevant effect off of a trap card being activated. And now they have 3 of those cards. So I definitely think that these cards are going to see some competitive play. I've heard a lot of talk about Feedback having some really cool interactions that you can kind of use it for, where you'll wait until your opponent goes into Needle Fiber to activate this card and then banish, let's say 5 or 6 cards. You will probably banish at least 1 combo piece that they needed from there, and now they're stuck on just a Needle Fiber board.
And not to mention that if you're running Extravagance, which some, or at least a good portion of control decks are, like Geist and Guru, you don't necessarily mind banishing all that.
Yeah, you don't care at all, really.
Yeah.
Especially, I can't talk for Guru because I don't play the deck. I think it's the most helmet deck of helmet decks.
Yeah.
Sorry to all the one Guru players that listen to this podcast.
No, they
Like
know.
an
They know. They know.
Oh, this is like a casual like a casual competitive podcast. There's like most of our fan base, all like 2 of you are Guru players.
Well, I'm sorry, Blake Root.
I'm not. I love you, Blake.
Speaking to Altergeists, obviously, no, you don't care about your extra deck. At most, you want to keep a single copy of Hexja. The nice thing about feedback is you are allowed to pick what cards you banish.
Really? I thought it was random.
No, banish any number of cards from your extra deck face down.
It's you get to choose yours. Theirs are random.
Yep.
Okay.
So, especially when it comes to this card, at most you want to keep a Hexja, maybe a Prime Banshee if you really think that you can do the disgusting Hexja combo into Prime Banshee. And if you're playing in the OCG, well, you're going to want to keep Pukri, because please send that card over to the TCG, please.
Pukri's
that card actually.
Or not, the rank.
Memory Gan?
Yeah, Memory Gan. Sorry. It's
No, you're good.
Same card. They're the same card.
Okay, so that feedback card is a lot better than I thought it was. I thought it was like both random, but even if it was both random, it would still be really good.
So, a couple points I want to make here. One, so this card does in theory conflict with Extravagance, because you're gonna want to banish a good chunk of your extra deck with this effect, or with this card, and your cards are banished permanently. Like your cards are just done. Their cards come back in the end phase. But with Geists now, the fact that they only need to... Extravagance isn't as necessary as it used to be, because they now have access to more copies of Faker, which is the only thing that they need. So I could very easily see Extravagance being cut down a little bit, replaced with even Desires.
I can see that.
Old Geist profiles ran Desires like crazy when they had three multi-fakers. So I could easily see Extravagance not necessarily falling out of favor, but being picked less for this card.
I was gonna say I can kind of see where it would conflict with Extravagance, but like I think about it this way: as long as you're banishing so that you have at least 6 cards in your extra deck, I don't think it necessarily conflicts too much with Extravagance, just because how many Extravagance do you like usually resolve a game? It's usually just one.
Yeah, that's
right?
That's what I was thinking. I don't think it conflicts that much for 2 reasons. One, you have to activate Extravagance at the start of your main phase 1, whereas this trap isn't going to be relevant until the turn after you set it. So let's say you draw into both cards in one hand. I don't think that having that card or feedback, I don't think that's going to be too relevant. I mean, yeah, it's gonna there's gonna be less cards that you banish from your opponent face down, but like, I mean, you can still banish 9 cards from their extra deck. That's like a hefty number. If they're playing combo, they're not, unless you like somehow whiff 9 cards, they're not going to be able to get their combo off that turn. So yeah, I don't know if it's going to be too big of a conflict. I think you can definitely run both if you choose to do that.
Yeah, you can definitely run both.
Because what Shane said is like, yeah, how many times do you really like resolve Extravagance in a game? Usually, like, maximum is 2. Maximum is like 2, right? Obviously, maximum is 3, but
that's the thing, though. Geists is a grind deck, so it's not uncommon to see 2 Extravagances come out. It's really not, because you're not playing a deck that just wins right off the bat. Like, yeah, if you draw both cards at the start of your turn, that's a really, or at the start of your first turn, that's a really good like play to have. But a lot of times you're gonna draw into your Extravagances turn 3, turn 4, and that's when they're gonna be important, because that's gonna be when you're gonna need gas for your engine. But you can definitely play both. You guys are both both
Yeah.
completely right. It doesn't like hard conflict. It doesn't like hard cancel the other. It's just Extravagance could become a dead card later in the game if you're really grinding. But at the same time, if you're playing Geists, like you're used to that, and once you get the Faker Silk combo out, like you can pretty much just go the rest of the game.
So this might just be me like being bad, but so replace Extravagance with Reckless Greed. There you go. Fixes all your issues.
No. Geists really like that draw phase.
Shane is.
I
no
think
longer
every
part of
deck
the podcast.
likes to draw
Sorry,
phase.
everyone. If anyone wants to apply for the third position that we have open now,
Damn.
you're welcome to.
I'm gonna make this prediction right now. Seeing a lot of these really nice, fairly powerful normal traps coming out, be ready to see a lot of trap trick Altergeist decks built very heavily around the strategy, I think.
I mean, sorry, you go.
No, I was just gonna say trap trick is really strong already with the cards it has access to, and it's just been given 2 more really powerful options: a pseudo Dark Ruler No More, and a pseudo stun or combo stun card.
Yeah, and like you said it, Trap Tricks actually is a pretty strong archetype. I mean, it has really, it has to go first. I mean, but that's like almost every control.
Well,
deck.
you're not gonna see. I don't think you'll see like Eldritch Trap Tricks like the deck. I'm talking like Trap Trick the card.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking because
Like strategies built around 3 Trap Trick in the main, because it's not a dead draw when 20 of your cards are normal traps that bounce.
I straight up thought
cancel
that
out.
Altergeist already ran 3 Trap Trick.
No, it actually doesn't see as much play as you would think, because it can be a dead draw because you play a lot of counter traps right now. Because Solemn Judgment and Solemn Strike are really strong cards in the meta right now. But what I think you'll see more of is trap trick strategies for Altergeist that are all about searching exact responses that you need. Do you need a bounce? Go get your Compulse. Do you need Monster Negate on their next summon? Search Warning Point. Do you need to stop their combo dead in its tracks? Search Feedback. Do you
Warning
need
Point
to
actually kind of does that too.
Well, yeah, but not always. Because again, it's only monsters that are currently that have just been summoned or that the card is responding to.
Like imagine resolving Warning Point in response to them specialing out like Link Cross tokens or Auroradon tokens.
Oh, yep.
They just straight up, they can't. I mean, I guess Auroradon can use the tokens to pop, but
no, that's actually huge. Now that I think about it, Warning Point shuts down especially Link Cross, because now you just have a board of tokens that do nothing. Because it doesn't, it says negate their effects, if any, and they also cannot be used for fusion summons and
or
et cetera,
synchro.
et cetera.
Yeah.
So yeah, you would. This card will very easily stop that combo right then and there.
Which makes me think: is there a reason to run the feedback card if you're running like 3 of this already?
In my opinion, yeah. Again, especially if you have a strategy based around normal trap cards, I still think feedback has a very good usage. Because not all decks are going to just straight up die to Warning Point. Because so many decks have special summon from hand. Fucking Datascape, what we talked about last time, literally just says target one of your monsters, send a card from deck to grave, special summon this card. Doesn't matter if its effect is negated or not. You just gave yourself more material.
Do you I know I'm kind of switching the conversation, but do you run Gravedigger's Trap Hole at all? I would imagine not. It is still a pretty good card.
In Geist, no. Not right now. Again, though, most of Geists right now is built around the Judgment package.
Yeah.
Because your life points and your
Brigade.
extra deck. Yeah. Your life points and extra deck literally don't matter. so long as you can just stop your opponent from playing the game for a little while, so that you can get to Meliseek, Faker, Silk, and then finally Marionetter.
Yeah. I don't know. I was just talking about Trap Chicks because in the Crusadia deck, I run 1 Rafflesia in the extra and then 2 Gravedigger's Trap Hole in the main, just for as like an out to Nibiru.
I wouldn't,
or other
again,
hand traps.
I wouldn't be against personally trying to figure out now, especially now that there are these cards, trying to figure out like a good Trap Trick Geist combo deck. Not combo deck, but you know what I mean. Like a good like deck that runs on just getting Trap Trick and being able to search out your responses. Do we have anything else to talk about here with Phantom Rage?
I mean, the Infernoble Synchro is pretty good. The Charmer Tri-Brigade Fusion card is
so weird.
Yeah, is weird. That's really all I can say about it. I don't know. I really have nothing. I know there's some Melfi's coming out, but I really haven't been following Melfi at all.
I've never played Phantom. Actually, I played some Phantom Knight cards as techs in Unchained, but I've never actually played Phantom Knights as a deck. But like the cards look cool coming out in it. I'm excited for that. Something else is, well, it's not coming out in Phantom Range. What is it? Another Dragoonity card got announced as a jump promo.
Oh, right.
Oh, yeah.
You should get on that.
There's nothing that we can really say about it. We don't know its effect.
I was gonna say, do we even know its name?
We know its name. It's like Risalme or something. I forgot.
Oh, right. When they announced it, they like blurred out the effect.
Yeah, that's just. Yeah, I'm looking at the picture right now. It's just a big purple spiky speech bubble with secret.
Yeah.
In all caps and 2 exclamation
Really,
points.
really dumb.
So maybe that's its effect. Maybe its effect is literally just yelling secret. But it's a level 3, and they posited it as generic dragon or winged beast support. So like, who knows what that means? But it's a level 3, which is cool because someone I saw talking about it was if it has the ability to special summon itself while it's equipped to a Dragoonity monster, or if it's in the graveyard, that enables Dragoonity Knight Trident plays, which Trident is a level 7 Dragoonity Synchro, where you can target up to 3 cards you control, send them to the graveyard, and then you get to look at your opponent's extra deck and send the same number to the grave. So it's kind of like Lithosagum, but in Dragoonities. But the thing is, it's a level 7, and most of the cards that you want to summon out are even numbered synchros. So Gaedurg and Vajriana are level 6, Barcha is level 8. The 2 big boss monster synchros are level 10. So usually your tuners are level 2 or level 4. I mean, Koos is a level 4 by its effect, but it's a level 2 inherently. So you can only go into even numbered synchros usually. But this being a level 3 means that if you have a level 4 normal summon, and then this, you could go into Trident. I don't really know how that would work as far as a combo goes, but like sending 3 cards from your opponent's extra deck is kind of filthy.
Yeah,
I'm excited to see what it does. Again, it's a V-Jump promo, so who knows how long it's going to take for it to get imported to the TCG, but you know, it looks cool. It looks cool. I'm excited.
But when you said it was generic, though, that's my one fear for you, really, is that all this Dragoonity stuff coming out, it's fantastic for Dragoonity, but I also see it being abused in Dragon Link, Rockets, kind of the same thing, or other Dragon-centric decks that are, historically powerful, and it has potential to get some of these cards banned.
Right. Yeah. So people were talking about.
That's what I'm afraid about.
People were talking about the Guard Dragons getting banned before the structure deck comes out, which I don't really see happening, because the structure deck comes out in a month for the OCG, meaning we'll get it in like 3 to 4 months, so in like November or December, assuming no more product delays. But so we're getting a ban list. TCG is getting a ban list. what, by like September is when they allegedly said that we're going to get a ban list. I don't see Guard Dragons being banned, the Pisty and LP being banned by then, because they're not doing anything right now.
No, well, nothing's really
really
doing
not.
anything right now as far as
Well,
Konami's concerned.
As far as, yeah, sure, in their eyes, right. But like from the player base, you don't see Dragon Link doing crazy stuff. There's like Aspiss, FTK, but like that was sort of like a,
Aspiss.
yes.
What
That's sort
happened
of,
to that deck, by the way?
it's the same as it ever was. But
Well, I mean, it's still
I guess
around, but people have like
yeah.
collectively said like, nah, we're not gonna play this
Yeah,
anymore.
I don't really know what happened. It was like kind of consistent, even through hand traps, which I don't know.
No,
why
it,
people
they
stopped
the
playing it.
guys who made it, they straight up made a program and said that it can, through any hand trap other than Nibiru, it has a 95% chance of FTKing.
That's insane. That is
Yeah.
absolutely insane.
And even after Nibiru, it had like a 70-some% chance. Like,
That's
I watched the
crazy.
video, somebody posted on the subreddit, and I was like, I might as well give this a watch. And it's actually insane how they like did all that shit. It was extremely impressive, and I'm actually surprised that modern Yu-Gi-Oh deck building hasn't come down to that, or just modern any TCG deck building has just come down to somebody making a program to calculate out probabilities of getting a specific first turn kill combo out.
I mean, we have that. Just look up hyper geometric calculator, and then you can put in your sample size and the number of successes.
No,
and you can
but this
calculate
guy
out-
was like straight up like he I don't know, the way he had it is like he had the probability of every card in the hand and this combo and this combo, and
Oh, okay,
if
okay.
this card specifically was used against us or me, I can still have this percentage of getting the combo off, or if this card was specifically used against me in conjunction with this card, it looked insane.
Yeah. But anyway, as far as that goes, yeah, I don't really foresee the Guard Dragons being banned right now. They are bannable cards. I don't deny that. Like, Pisty just says, hey, find a dragon, special summon it from your deck. Like, or your hand, I think, right? LP. I play this card. I should know what this does. Blah, 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 blah. From your hand or deck. Yeah. So if you hard draw into one of your garnets, you can just special summon it. It sucks to do, but you know. So yeah, I could see LP being banned. I don't think it's going to be banned right now. But even if they do, regarding your comment, Shane, about like banning stuff, I don't think the deck is going to die without Guard Dragon stuff, because that, while it helps, like, Pisty is awesome. I don't think Pisty is going to get banned because it's just like a reborn. But yeah, the deck can play without LP. LP just helps get the Amorphage lockout, or if you can't get that off, it just helps as like a crazy extender to look for literally whatever Dragon Tuner or anything that you need from the deck. Yeah, I don't really see the Guard Dragons being banned is a huge detriment. It would suck, but it wouldn't destroy the deck.
I honestly don't see them getting banned like at all in the near future, just because if they didn't already hit it when the OCG hit it, I don't think they're going to hit it at all.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure the Guard Dragons are banned in the OCG.
No, they are. I think
Okay.
it's LP that's banned, I
LP is
think.
banned. I think Agrippane's banned as well. But
So
that
that's
was
pretty much...
Agripane.
Is that all the new cards that we wanted to talk about?
it's
Yeah, I think that's all. I mean, that's all I have on Phantom Rage.
the
Yeah,
answer.
and yeah, that's pretty much the only things I was really looking at, the Infernity stuff, and that's pretty much it.
So I think we are safe to move into a little discussion that I've really wanted to have regarding the different types of decks in Yu-Gi-Oh! And how we really feel about them, and like what our thoughts on those are. So obviously, we have the big two, which are control and combo. And then Shane, you said the triangle for most card games was what?
So the triangle is like, at least in Magic, because I played Magic before. It went combo, control, and aggro. Aggro beat control, control beat combo, and combo beat aggro. But in Yu-Gi-Oh, it's kind of a different thing because there really is no predetermined aggro
Well,
kind of.
you could kind of count FTK and like OTKs as like really aggro
I view them more of like a subset of
combo. Yeah.
combo. So in Magic, think of aggro as, because they have a resource. They have a resource. So usually the color associated with aggro and Magic is red. So you'd play a red mana, a mountain, tap it, and either play a 1-cost creature with haste or something, or a 1-cost spell, or sorcery or instant for that matter, that either did damage or the creature would have haste, which means it could attack the turn it was summoned. Because in Magic, every creature has summoning sickness; they can't use their effect or attack the turn that they are summoned, I believe. So then that's already either like doing 1 or 2 damage on turn 1. Then turn 2, you place another mountain down, and now you have 2 mana. So you either place 2 more creatures, or you play another spell. But usually it's 2 more creatures. In specific, I'm thinking of like goblins. So then you do like another 3 damage to that person.
Let's talk about this more in the context of Yu-Gi-Oh right now.
Yeah, no. I'm just explaining. I'm trying to, but to explain it in the context of Yu-Gi-Oh, I kind of have to explain it here.
Well, I mean, people know that there's 2 big categories.
Yeah.
There's control. There's control, and then there's combo, and then
Yeah.
you have different like sub quote unquote genres. Because in combo you have OTK decks that combo, you have FTK decks that combo, you have control break my board decks that can combo, and then with control you have stun, you have just pure control, etc.
Yeah,
You've got
no,
kind of
but
like pseudo builds too, where it's like a combo control and
Exactly.
yeah, no, but that's what I was trying to say. That you hit it right on the nose. Yu-Gi-Oh has combo and they have control, and then they have subsets of each of those. But I'm saying in the context of other card games, there is an aggro thing that kind of has their own.
Sure.
Think of it like in Yu-Gi-Oh. Think of it if you normal summon a monster, attack in, and then you normal summon another monster in your second turn and attack in, and then you normal summon another monster. Aggro only exists in those formats or in those games, and not Yu-Gi-Oh. It's because there's a resource kind of engine, and
it's slowed down.
Yes, in
Yu-Gi-Oh is
Magic,
a lot faster.
you have to for combo and control, you have to establish a board state first and get the resources you need. Where in Yu-Gi-Oh, it's resourceless, and how you set up your thing is just dependent on your opening hand and how fast you can just get your thing out. So that kind of it's actually kind of funny. The reason why aggro, which is considered a very fast kind of archetype of deck, doesn't exist in Yu-Gi-Oh is because combo and control are too fast themselves to make, because if you're just normal summoning a monster every turn and attacking, like even if you are normal summoning Megalo, Smasher X, or the Alexandrite Dragon, these level 4 vanillas with 2,000 attack, which are pretty respectable, it still can't do anything against the board of Borreload Savage, Herald of the Arclight, Dragite, or a set 5 back row type of thing. And that's just what I was trying to explain. Because Yu-Gi-Oh is so fast, there is aggro does
every
not
deck's
need
aggro.
Yeah,
like
every deck is
has
aggro.
access
Yes,
to aggro.
Exactly. So it's not necessarily that aggro doesn't exist. It's that it's aggro combo, aggro control.
Yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh is an aggro game.
Yes.
Usually.
So that's why.
When you draw right.
Yeah, that's why in Yu-Gi-Oh there's just combo and control.
So point that I really wanted to get to is the idea of skill within each category, because you even said before, like I made a joke about it, a lot of strategies get kind of deemed as helmet or brain dead, or just like easy, haha, do the one line of thing that your deck does and then pass turn because that's all you can do, and then just like lull XD flip up trap cards.
Yeah, so I once you're done, I actually want to touch on that too, because I feel like we're either gonna have the same point, or I'm gonna kind of offer a different viewpoint on that.
Well, I just want to. Ahmed, do you have anything?
Well, I think we should start off by talking about, because I think this all started because this was Justin's talking point. I really like this. We should talk about like what we like, what play styles we enjoy, what we vibe with. Because like at the beginning of the episode, we sort of talked about like what this means for our relationship with the game. And I think that'd be a cool thing to just like introduce to people who are listening.
Yeah. So I'll go first here. I think from even episode 1, I mentioned that the thing that keeps me going in Yu-Gi-Oh is control.
It's solemn judgment.
I like.
He
I like
has a
it.
solemn judgment body pillow at home.
Yeah,
I
he actually does.
I really would. I really would have one.
He doesn't have one. But that'd be cool.
But yeah, control is what keeps me in the game. Yu-Gi-Oh for a very long time has always been really combo heavy, and like that's been a lot of like the big focus of Yu-Gi-Oh. I mean, a literal entire era of the game was defined by what's known as Synchro Spam, where every deck was just like throwing like monsters on the board and just summoning, and just comboing off into like huge boards. I personally don't really like that whole playstyle of just like break my board, spam until I have 3 monsters that are barely able to be attacked over and lock you out of the extra deck and also prevent you from drawing and also like destroy your entire back row every end phase. I'm just making up effects, but you get the point. I've always been very into control. I started out the game playing Altergeist, which is an easy control strategy. At the time, I thought like, oh, it's so difficult. Like you got to decide what monster you special summon with Multi-Faker. And then I played for a couple months with the deck, and I was like, oh, it's like 80% Silk, 20% the rest. And then I was introduced to the glorious archetype of Sky Striker, which the point that led me to this entire discussion, or this whole discussion idea, was that Sky Striker was seemingly just like a deck that just with Engage, it literally did just access whatever cards it wanted. But it was a card that could search out whatever it needed, but required you to have enough game sense to know what you needed. And it added this element of skill that I don't think decks like Geist and Guru have, because Geists and Guru just kind of spin a wheel and hope to God that they draw a really nice hand, because most of the time they're going to set 5 cards and pass, and those 5 cards are just a mash of whatever like trap cards are in their deck that they're hoping have relevance in this next turn. Striker, especially going second right now, have this very high skill ceiling of, okay, I can get to my cards whenever I really need to, but what cards do I need and when do I need them in what order?
Widow Anchor. You need Widow Anchor.
Well, yeah, but that's the thing. Like, do you have enough spells in the grave? Can you generate enough spells in the grave? Do you have, especially right now, do you have the need to go into Access Code Talker? How are you going to get into Access Code Talker? What cards do you need to prevent their interaction? Sky Striker has all of these cards built into their archetype. They have a way to send cards to the grave, bring them back, recycle them later. They have ways of adding cards to their hand in the end phase, activating them, and then resetting them to have access to them when they need it. But you have to know when to do that. And yeah, I think a lot of the like grindy, option-heavy control strategies require a good chunk of skill that is akin to combo decks, but doesn't just kind of like spam out a bunch of like big things that your opponent has to deal with. Rather, you spam out options to deal with your opponent. So those are my thoughts on that. I will pass the reins over to the next person here.
So we're just gonna go into like the archetype that we kind of, or not archetype, but like the thing we play, and then we'll talk about what each of us say at the end, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he likes playing control, which is fine.
Oh.
I'm on the other end of the spectrum there, and I exclusively love OTK style decks, which I will admit does get the rap as being one of like some of the most helmet decks out there, of just me make big guy and smash. That's the heart of the deck, or the heart of the strategy, is you just make a big guy, break their board. But I don't know. I don't know what else to say about it. You literally do just make a big guy and smash, and I just like the playstyle of blind second, or like building a deck to blind second, because you can't always guarantee that you're going to go first. You cannot always guarantee. So you're essentially building your deck to lose 50% of the time. Whereas blind second, you can design your deck to almost always go second, and at least guarantee, like, at least 75% of the time, at least game one, and then smash in. It's just, I don't know. I like the design of the deck, building a deck like that, putting specifically board breaking cards in your deck, or building a deck specifically around countering meta combo strategies, or countering set 5 pass, or, you know, that's just how I like playing the game. Ahmed, Justin.
Hang on. I think Ahmed disappeared for a second, but real quick, I just want to make a point to that. Like, while I think that there are helmet decks in the game, like, we literally talked about them earlier in the podcast, especially when it came to like S0. Decks that just do one really big thing, or a really powerful thing that just prevent your opponent from being able to interact. While those decks exist, a lot of other decks just kind of get roped into that as being like, oh, helmet, or oh, easy, just because on the surface it seems like trains, for example. It seems like trains should just always end Gustav, Lieb, burn, kill.
Yeah.
Like, that's what it seems like. But from playing you, like, there's definitely more nuance to the deck. Like, you have to build around that not happening, and like have kind of backups. I know you run like Dora or Super Dora to like keep your board state if you need to, just to make sure you don't die.
Yeah. But like, I in specific, I remember you were playing Geist at the time, and I'm pretty sure I lost game 1. But anyways, we moved on to game 2, and I was just like, all right, fuck it. I'm just gonna throw down the BLS link and hope to God that gets me there. And it almost got me there, but I was being an idiot. But it's just like having those other strategies in the deck too. But I'm gonna let you finish your point, and then I actually did want to talk about that whole helmet deck.
Well, I think we should pass it off to Ahmed. I think he's back now.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, Justin, let me know that there's a huge spider outside of his window.
Dude, did you see it? It's huge.
Yeah. So it's a daddy long legs, but it's like
it's father long legs.
Bro, its legs were like dead ass like 4 or 5 inches long.
Jesus Christ.
And like its body was like big. It wasn't just like the tiny little pebble body that like you're used to.
Yeah.
I've been staring at that the entire time you guys were talking about like the end of the freaking whatever set, Phantom Rage, and I was just like, oh god, please don't come in here, please don't come in here.
So anyway, I really like combo decks as well. I played True Draco when I first got back into Yu-Gi-Oh! In early 2019. Yeah, I'm sorry guys. And I was like, oh wow, this deck is so cool. True Draco, fun. But realistically, I ended up hating it, and people ended up hating me because I was playing it. But anyway, I've always enjoyed combo decks since I really started to understand competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! Because there's just something really fulfilling to me about going through all these steps and like slowly building up, or maybe quickly building up to this like boss monster that protects like your plays and everything, or is able to kill them in a turn or whatever, you know. I just really like big beefy boss monsters that have some sort of relevancy and contingency on how the game goes, and not just like one boss monster. There's an ambulance about to cross my window, so just give me a second. There it goes. I hope everything's okay.
Goodbye, ambulance.
Bye, ambulance. But yeah, and I'm not just talking like, oh, cool, I ended on one level 4, or I'm sorry, level 10 synchro monster that has one negate. Like, building up a board that like supports itself, where if one thing gets like threatened, like you try to imperm a Borreload Savage, the next thing can protect the other thing instead of the Borreload Savage having to have its negate forced or something, you know. So I just really enjoy combo decks because, as I mentioned at the beginning of the episode, which this will segue really nicely into what we're about to start talking about, because it's a lot of resource management and forward thinking, where it's not just here are the cards I need to do big Oonga Boonga combo. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it is. You know, sometimes you have those cards and it's like, okay, cool, I memorized exactly how I need to get to this endpoint. But the thing I really like is it's almost like a puzzle. You know, I really love that about combo decks. I've loved puzzles for most of my life. And you're given this starting material in the starting hand, and you have to sit there and decide, how am I going to get to the best possible outcome? How am I going to get that perfect final puzzle piece in? So that's something I really, really enjoy about combo decks.
Something else that I know you had mentioned to me the other day was that you like not just combo decks that just do like big Oonga Boonga combo. You like combo decks that have a ton of like combo branches that they can go off to, determining the situation.
Yeah, exactly. And thank you for bringing that up, because like the full Dragoonity combo as it stands right now in July of 2020 is full combo is 2 monster negates, 1 omni negate, extra deck lock, spell card lock. That's really oppressive for whatever deck you're playing against, regardless, you know. But sometimes you have to know what your opponent's gonna like end on, you know. Maybe ending on Heretic Spheres, Heretic Dragon of the Heavenly Spheres, is like to bounce their normal summon is going to be stronger than a monster negate. And you have to play around that, and you have to understand I can't just go into the Crystal Wing and instead I have to end on Heretic Dragon of the Heavenly Spheres, because bouncing their monster is going to be a lot more impactful. So given those like decision branches and decision trees of, if I do this, it'll do this for them. If I do this, it'll do this to them. That's something that I really, really enjoy about combo decks.
So like not necessarily linear combo, but like response kind of combo.
Yeah, I very much enjoy responsive decks rather than this is what I'm gonna do every single turn.
Yeah,
and I'm the same way. I just like going about it in a different fashion. I really like, the reason I'm so drawn to Sky Striker right now especially is because I like the go second, okay, what do I need, what can I do kind of like mindset, instead of just like battle phase, end of battle phase, evenly, multi-faker, yeah, I got this. Like, it's a lot more simple than like actually deciding like, oh, how do I take out this monster, how do I get around its protection, how do I bait out the Herald, stuff like that. Shane, you had said you wanted to make a point.
So this it had to revolve back to when you were talking about like helmet style decks and decks getting bad raps and all that kind of stuff.
Which, by the way, I'm not saying helmet decks don't exist. Again, S0, True Draco, like pure True Draco strategies that are just like lol XD, Monarchs, Erupt, like literally just revolve around getting a really powerful card on the board and flipping it face up and saying, Okay, do you have an out? Are you running Cosmic? No? Okay, good game.
Well, I'd almost argue that that's a subset of Control. In MTG,
It
there's
is.
like
It is a subset of Control.
there's like a prison style decks that you can play, and that's kind of what it is. It's a prison effect. It's a lingering negate or a lingering effect that prevents your opponent from playing the game, and that's a prison effect. But anyways, I was gonna get back to it. I feel like just by game design with Yu-Gi-Oh! And card design and everything, every deck, and this is just for the competitive, this is just being a competitive card game overall. Every deck is going to be streamlined to do what it does best. A certain thing, whether it be Control, is gonna get their win con. Every deck is centered on a win con, and how good a deck is depends on how often and how consistently you can get to that win con.
Yeah, I would argue that not every deck has that, but every good deck has that, and as long as your deck has that, it does revolve around how good it is. Because certain decks just literally do nothing. They just literally don't really have a
exactly.
win con.
But that's the thing too. It's not necessarily a reflection on the meta. It's like we used trains earlier because I played trains, but its win con is get Lieb out and smash face, and that deck has some moderate success because it can get Lieb out consistently and smash face. I feel like every deck can be considered a helmet deck, and that's not necessarily a bad thing because that's literally by game design.
I'm gonna go ahead and disagree with you there, because I personally think that every deck requires some sort of skill, and I'd like for us to actually talk about that more, because generally from what I've seen in the community, people are like, combo requires more skill, right? People say combo decks require more skill. Well, if you're just memorizing a combo,
no, that's what I'm saying. Exactly.
Mean skill.
Adamantipator is built around that one combo pretty much. That's where I honestly have more fun building decks than I do actually playing the decks, and that's why I end up going from deck to deck to deck, because you mentioned puzzles before. I feel like deck building is literally putting a puzzle together, and then dueling is throwing those puzzles at each other to figure out whose puzzle is better. Sorry, I kind of interrupted you, Ahmed, earlier. You can go.
Yeah. So I think something Justin wanted to talk about is what really is skill in this game, right? Like, what does determine skill in playing a deck? Like, is combo more skill based? Is control more skill based? Yeah. And I'll actually start this off by saying, each deck has its points of skill, it just manifests in different ways, because I'm not going to reiterate too much, but combo has all these decision trees and you have to decide which one's the best, and if you mess up once, sometimes your whole combo is just scuffed and it's like, oh cool, I have to end on this super suboptimal board that might actually not deal with what my opponent is playing with at all. So you need to remember what effects you need to use, what cards you need to go in, what extenders you need to access, things like that. So there's skill in that inherently, because you need to think ahead. There's a lot of forward planning, like I mentioned before. With control decks, a lot of people just say, cool, I flip up Skill Drain. Cool, I flip up Summon Limit. Cool, I flip up Solemn Judgment. And that's it. That's the extent of my skill. And to a point, there is not much skill in flipping up. There can be only one. There's not too much skill in flipping up Summon Limit. Like, there's no timing in that really matters, because you can just activate that in your opponent's draw phase or standby phase, and fun, awesome. They can't play for that turn. However, there are certain choke points with control decks that you need to be good at the game and understand what your opponent's playing and what that could imply for the rest of the game.
Yep.
Where the skill comes in. Solemn Judgment is a skill-based card. I will always say that. Solemn Judgment is a very skillful card, because sometimes they can commit to a normal summon. You could Solemn Judgment it. Cool, you're sitting at 4,000 life points. Maybe they didn't need that normal summon. You just shotgunned your sometimes your only interaction, lost half of your life points, and now they have half less life points to worry about in terms of like ending the game. So really knowing when to activate certain interactions with control decks takes skill, in my opinion.
I could not agree more. You pretty much said exactly what I was going to comment on, and it's that, like, you're right. Like, people consider that combo decks are like the high skill, like, oh, if you play a combo deck, then you're just good at the game because you know how to do all of these crazy things. When in reality, yeah, you're just memorizing a combo line, a sheet that just goes from one end to another. And really, as long as you don't mess that up and you know how to get there, it's not really the most skillful. I'm not saying it doesn't take skill. Memorization of those combos is in its own way, like, pretty hard. And you were talking about with like Dragunities, like, not all combo decks have just a straight, like, streamlined combo, and you have to know what cards will get you where with the resources you have. Where combo, the question is how. I feel like control, like, the skill-based question is when. When do I activate this card? When do I hit the judgment? Do I shotgun it? Do I not? When do I flip up compulse? Like, when is the activation time good? When will it be impactful? And yeah, I think that right there is what a lot of people don't get about control decks, is that while yes, there are just instant win Imperial orders in the game, most combo decks do have to, or not combo, control decks do have to play the interaction game, where they have to decide where they're going to place their interaction and know how that's going to affect the game. A big thing to remember is the Alistar Dilemma. You know that you want to hit the Alistar's effect, because that will stop them from getting the invocation. But it doesn't matter if they have the invocation in hand. You still need to, like, know that that's the best spot, and know that there's a chance that you could still get, like, they could still go off from there, and you have to think of what you could do then, or if that really is just, like, the only interaction you can make. Shane, you were gonna make a point.
I agree and I disagree. I don't know. I feel like the real skill, I mean, don't get me wrong, there is skill involved with this game. I feel like instead of, though, it being between combo, control, and OTK or aggro, but really just combo and control, it comes down to a player-to-player basis. Because you can have the most skilled player in the game go to an event, but if they're not playing a deck that was thought out, like methodically thought out, planned out, and I feel like deck building is where the real skill, like, now I wouldn't say real skill, because there is skill all over, but that's where being able to build that deck in order to actually succeed, that's where the skill is.
Well, yeah, I don't think anyone's arguing that.
Yeah, I don't know, but like you guys were saying before, like the interaction and everything, there is, and maybe this is just me playing non-meta decks, because the Adamantipator has a ton of different lines it can go through, like combo starters and all that kind of stuff, whereas the combo deck, not necessarily the combo decks, but like the OTK style decks I play, or the decks I play, really only have one linear combo. And if you stop that, it usually means that I lost. But the reason why control gets a bad rap too is that, like, let's say you're playing against Altergeist, they multi-faker, they have Silk, and then they set 5-pass. Like, it doesn't matter what they have. They could have 3 Solemns back there and a Silk. It doesn't matter what you do, they're going to be able to interrupt it. They could hit your normal summon. They could literally hit every single card activation from that point on. And if you're out of resources, but that's that's why it gets kind of a bad rap.
That's super optimal though, and also trust me, there are decks that exist that you can set for and have multi-faker in your hand, and unfortunately, that doesn't mean you instantly win.
No, I know.
Like, unless you know where to place it. Again, it comes down to like the skill of the player, because unless you know where to place those back row interactions, like Ahmed said, you might just shotgun your normal summon. Cool. They have a special ready to go. They have Pankratops right there. They pop a back row. You have to deal with it. You try to bounce something. Oh, they have a response. Again, it comes down to knowing when to drop that. I will say this though. I think Altergeist is like one of the closest to easy strategies you can get in Control. That Guru, Draco in its prime, where it's just literally like, okay, I know I'm just gonna put up a bunch of cards that like do stuff and hope that I just interrupt at the right times. But there's still skill involved. There's still definitely skill involved.
There was also some. Oh, sorry, Ahmed, you were gonna go.
Not necessarily. And there's an important distinction to draw between like control and stun.
Yes, we should actually talk about that a little bit.
Well, I mean, I don't know if I'd even call it a distinction, because stun is a form of control. I think it's maybe even the most extreme form of control, because stun doesn't really have a win condition. It's stop my opponent from playing, equip my monster with Moon Mirror Shield, attack for 100, attack for 100, attack for 100, attack for 100, attack for 100,
barrier
attack for 100,
statues,
attack for 100.
Fossil
Dino. King Ryo.
All that stuff, you know. So, you know, it's and Shane, you actually brought up a really good point that I hadn't thought about, because there's skill in deck building as well. Net decking is like allowed. You're allowed to net deck. Because I mean, sometimes you can't come up with the best deck list. I am not an amazing deck builder, so I look at people who I know are better than me, and I look at their decks. I'm like, cool, I'll use this as a template. And if I find something that I enjoy, that I think will work well, or that fits my playstyle, I'll add it in. Nothing crazy. I'm not going to be playing like, I don't know, Tools of the Seven Bandits in Dragoonavir or something, because I'm like, oh, it's a counter trap. You know, I'm not gonna be doing that. But yeah, there's definitely skill in building the deck and figuring out your ratios and your statistics and everything. But then there's also, and I think what's more relevant in terms of this conversation specifically, is skill in piloting it. Because Justin brought up like True Draco. You flip up Monarch's Erupt, you clip your nails for a turn, they try to activate monster effects, you eat a sandwich, you go get married, you come back, and they're like, okay, cool, I passed turn, I can't do anything. And it's like, alright, awesome. Whatever, you know, a diagram effect. And then you just do whatever. So there's definitely less skill in certain decks comparatively, but sometimes it comes down to like the cards that require skill in the specific deck, because we brought up Solemn Judgment before as an example.
I think a big like point to the whole like players piloting the deck matters. I mean, you look at big YCS results, players like Jesse Cotton are topping almost every event, and they're playing a myriad of different decks. They're like crazy strategies. They make wild predictions of just the general player base, like, oh, everyone's gonna be playing this card, so they side in a really weird, seemingly random card, like a Pointer of the Red Lotus, and then they just go off. They just surprise everyone playing this card that no one's even really thought about, but they knew like exactly what it was. And even when they don't play crazy techs, they still top events by just outplaying their opponent and just like making wild assumptions on what each individual player piloting the deck's gonna do. So yeah, I think, well, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is like this weird game, and a lot of card games are like this, but it's this weird game where like skill and luck have to align pretty hard for you to do well.
Well said.
Like these top players prove that you can still win off of bad, like quote unquote bad hands by just knowing what's going on.
Exactly.
Like you can brick, you can definitely hard brick, but a good player will know the distinction between an unplayable brick and a really suboptimal brick that, as long as they play their cards right, they can still do something.
Yeah, and I mean that's kind of where I wanted to. I don't know. That's what I was trying to say before. That it's not. We can sit here and argue whether control takes more skill or combo takes more skill, and I'm sitting here in the back smashing my head into the keyboard, summoning big chunguses, smashing in. But it doesn't come down to combo or control. It comes down to the player in making the deck and piloting the deck. That's where it is. It doesn't necessarily mean, you know, I don't know. I have a problem with arguing between which deck takes more skill, what's considered a helmet deck, because why is it a bad thing if you make a deck that does something really good and streamline that deck so it does that one thing really, really good consistently?
Well, I think the big thing with helmet decks is that, like, it takes away from the player's skill, like, mattering. I think that's the problem I normally have, is that, like, if any idiot can pick up this deck and just be like, duh, skill drain, and win the game off of that, it takes away from, like, actual players who know things really well. Granted, a lot of big name players can, like, outplay those decks by saving interaction and not overextending and knowing where to cut things off. But it kind of sucks when you go to an event and a guy who's never really played Yu-Gi-Oh before goes 7-1 because he drew skill drain Imperial Order every game. You know?
I honestly, I disagree. I think there is, and I will say that if the meta ever shapes up around, like, to the point where that is the most dominant meta deck, are just these stun decks or decks that play these just incredibly easy, like Numeron for that thing. If the meta ends up, that's an unhealthy meta.
Which we're there.
Yes, yeah. I do feel though that there is a place in the game for some floodgate effects, or
no, there definitely is. There definitely is room in the game for floodgate decks. What I'm getting at more is that, like, helmet decks do exist, and, like, while I don't think they should get as much hate as they get, like, it does suck when you sit down and you're like, oh boy,
I get to play against Guru.
Yeah, it's like, cool, I get to play against someone who, if he draws well, will probably win. If he draws poorly, he'll probably just complain and be sad.
Well, that's almost
I've been there. Yes, well,
Yeah.
no, because, like, some players will, like, be upset about their own plays, whereas, like, usually, and this is me too when I play Geist, like, I'll be mad when I draw 5 monsters and no traps and have no way to get to the thing that I need, you know?
Yeah. Do we have anything else to really say on this matter? Because we've probably been going for, like, almost an hour and a half over that now.
I was gonna say I'm pretty tapped out here.
Same.
I think we covered a lot today, so.
Oh yeah.
So, Ahmed, do you want to talk us out?
Yep.
Yes. I accidentally deafened myself.
I saw that.
I saw that. I was watching.
Gonna be waiting a while.
Yeah, I mean, so today we talked about some new cards coming out. Pretty excited about that. We talked about awesome, fun, cool Numeron, fun stuff, which we actually could have included in our discussion just now. Which is really ironic.
We did a little bit.
Like right at the
I
end
think we
there.
could have talked about it a little bit more. But
We also talked about it when you were investigating the Father Longlegs outside my window.
Yeah.
Sure. Which is ironic because I'm watching Distant Coder right now play against Numeron Guru. And if there's helmet, it's there. If there's a helmet, it's there. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I love you, Kevin. Anyway, and then we talked about what skill really means in terms of this game, if there's an inherent difference between I mean, there's obviously a difference, but in skill, in terms of combo decks and control decks, and what that really could mean for the integrity of certain decks in this game. Thank you all for listening today. We hope you guys have been enjoying the podcast. Feel free to subscribe.
We'd
Hit the
appreciate it.
notification bell.
Yeah, we really
notification
would.
bell. Like if you liked it. We know we talk a lot, but if you guys just put this on at work or something, and just listen to three guys who are into this game, just talk about what's going on in the game, our beliefs on the game, all that fun stuff. We'd appreciate it.
Also, if anyone listening has any topics that they think would be interesting to hear about, or they'd like to get our opinions on, like, please feel free to throw us a comment or find a way to contact us. We'll hopefully be better at getting some social media set up.
Yep. We got a Facebook. We got all that fun stuff.
I mean, I have that stuff
yet,
out there. I don't interact with it.
Yeah, we should feel free to reach out to us. Let us know. We'd love to take ideas. Even if it's very specific stuff, if it's more general opinions about the game. Pretty open and looking for content to make. So,
again, thank you all for listening. For those of you that did get this far into our podcast, we love you all, and this is Ahmed signing out.
This is Justin.
And this is Shane.
Have a good day. Wear your masks and wash your hands.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.